Gunna didn't pull up on Thug Mama. Gunna didn't pull up on Thug family. Gunna didn't pull up on Dolly. Gunna didn't pull up on nobody that has nothing to do with Thug. So it's no way possible you think that Elle was serious when she said you got to get out so you can help Thug.
The story of Young Thug and Gunna is one of the wildest twists hip-hop has seen in years. From loyalty and brotherhood to betrayal and beef, all wrapped inside the chaos of the YSL RICO case. To really understand how things got so messy, you got to go back to where it all started. Their bond wasn't just business, it was family. In 2015, Gunna was introduced to Young Thug by their mutual friend, King Troop. Troop was like a big brother to both of them, a respected figure in Atlanta who tragically lost his life that same year. After Troop's death, Thug took Gunna under his wing, seeing potential in the young rapper. From that point, their relationship grew fast. Thug wasn't just a mentor. He treated Gunna like a little brother. Stories came out about Thug buying Gunna a house, looking out for his mom, and putting him in the studio nonstop. Together, they started cooking up hits that would eventually define the YSL sound. Melodic flows over hard beats, mixing street authenticity with style. By the late 2010s, Gunna went from a local name to a chart presence, with Thug standing beside him every step of the way. For fans, the bond looked unbreakable. But everything changed in 2022 when the state of Georgia dropped a massive RICO indictment on YSL, labeling them not just as a label, but as a criminal enterprise. Young Thug was painted as the kingpin, while Gunna and dozens of others were dragged into the case. Suddenly, YSL wasn't just about music anymore. It was about survival. The charges were heavy: conspiracy, gun charges, drug trafficking, and even ties to violent crimes across Atlanta. For Thug, it was the fight of his life. That's when things took a turn nobody expected. In December 2022, Gunna walked free after taking an offered plea deal. Technically, it meant he didn't admit guilt, but acknowledged that the state had enough evidence to convict him. But in the eyes of the streets, it looked like snitching. Clips went viral of Gunna in court saying, "YSL is a gang," and for many, that was all they needed to see. The internet exploded, memes labeled him a rat, and fans started comparing him to other rappers who folded under pressure. The betrayal cut even deeper because of how close Gunna and Thug once were. Thug didn't say much publicly at first, but the silence spoke volumes. When other YSL members also started taking plea deals and walking out, it made things worse. For Thug, stuck behind bars facing decades, watching his team fold one by one had to sting. The brotherhood they built in music suddenly looked fragile, and Gunna, once his right-hand man, was now seen by many as the biggest traitor of all.
True. Called us.
Yeah, he used to be
called me and Nietzsche and said, "Slime doing the video over here in the hood. Y'all come down here, make sure you good."
We had a big homie named Troop. Rest easy, Troop. And he brought Gunna to me, like, "Hey, I want you to take them under your wing and like, these my little boys. I really raised them. Take them under your wings. Make sure they okay."
Poured my all into him, bro. I gave this nigga more time than my children, bro. I gave him more time than my kids.
After Gunna took that offered plea deal, the streets wasted no time flipping on him. Overnight, he went from one of the most stylish, respected rappers in Atlanta to being branded a snitch. Memes flooded social media, fans joked that his next album should be called Told on Thug, and rappers across the culture started distancing themselves. Even though Gunna insisted he never testified against Thug, that courtroom clip where he admitted YSL is a gang was enough to stain his name forever. In hip-hop, perception is everything, and once people smell rat energy, it's hard to shake off. Meanwhile, Young Thug was still fighting for his life in court. Facing decades in prison, Thug's silence toward Gunna became its own message. He never publicly defended him, never tried to clear up the rumors. Instead, fans noticed subtle signs of tension. In leaked jail calls, Thug sounded bitter, dropping subliminals that made it clear he felt betrayed. Then came the leaks of Thug's unreleased music, where he allegedly dissed Gunna directly. One track, Closing Arguments, had him rapping like he knew people had folded on him. Another, Prototype, carried lyrics that seemed to aim at Gunna without saying his name. Gunna, for his part, tried to move past it by dropping new music. In 2023, he released A Gift and a Curse, an album full of slick bars where he hinted at his innocence. On Bread and Butter, he rapped that he didn't snitch, blaming the media for twisting things. But no matter how hard he pushed that narrative, the streets weren't buying it. Fans dissected every lyric, saying he was dodging responsibility instead of facing the fact that his deal hurt Thug's case. The more he denied, the more people clowned him. To make things worse, other YSL members had also started taking pleas. One by one, Thug's supposed brothers cut deals and walked free. For fans, it looked like the whole crew had abandoned him, leaving Thug to face the fire alone. And when clips surfaced of YSL members in court confirming the gang's existence, the betrayal felt complete. If YSL really was a family, why was Thug the only one sitting in that cell while everyone else touched the streets? This is where the beef truly heated up. Thug, once the face of Atlanta unity, was now being painted as a boss with no loyal soldiers left. Gunna, once his protege, was trying to rebuild a solo career under the shadow of being a rat. Diss tracks, subliminals, and leaked audio kept pouring fuel on the fire, making fans wonder if the relationship could ever be repaired. But deep down, everybody knew the answer. The damage was already done.
I saw the girl, Gorilla.
Yeah.
Why do people say she pretty? That ugly.
Andre 3000, you one of the biggest artists in the world. You became one of the biggest artists in the world. But you ain't help nobody. You ain't put nobody on. You're going to hear every bar. You just popping it the worst way.
Yeah,
I come right on him with him. You're a rat.
I'm dealing with real life shit. Travis got goddamn 11 murders on his hand. Nigga, you don't get your mustache back. Goddamn.
And I just felt like it was just over. Like, I'm just sitting in jail 24 hours on 23 and 1. I'm in a cell 23 hours.
Just when fans thought the YSL drama couldn't get any messier, old footage leaked of young Thug himself sitting with police back in 2015. The video showed Thug being questioned for over 2 hours about the Lil Wayne tour bus shooting, an incident that nearly turned Atlanta into a war zone. In the clip, Thug downplayed his ties, but fans couldn't ignore one thing. For someone who was calling Gunna a snitch, why was there footage of him in an interrogation room talking to cops? The internet went crazy, saying the hypocrisy was too heavy to ignore. But the scandals didn't stop there. Leaked jail calls of Thug poured gasoline on the fire. Instead of staying quiet, Thug started ranting about damn near everyone in hip-hop. In one call, he dissed Gunna directly, saying he turned his back when things got real. In others, he went after Kendrick Lamar, J. Cole, Future, Drake, Lil Durk, Migos, Gucci Mane, and even Glorilla. The rants painted a picture of a man isolated, bitter, and ready to burn bridges with the entire industry. Fans who once saw Thug as a unifying figure now viewed him as someone unraveling under the pressure. The wildest part? Some of these rants turned into unreleased songs. Tracks like Miss My Dogs had Thug apologizing and reflecting, while others were full of venom toward people he once called friends. This split the fan base even more. Some sided with Thug, saying he had every right to lash out after watching his crew fold. Others argued that he was digging his own grave, making enemies of the very people who could have supported him in his fight for freedom. Meanwhile, Gunna was outside trying to repair his image. He stayed low-key, avoided interviews, and focused on music. But no matter how many bangers he dropped, the stigma stuck. Fans were ruthless in the comments, calling him a rat every time his name trended. Other rappers hesitated to collab with him, worried about the street code backlash. Even though his music numbers stayed strong, his reputation was permanently stained. And in hip-hop, respect is worth more than streams. This back and forth had a bigger effect too. It shook the entire Atlanta rap scene. YSL wasn't just a crew, it was part of Atlanta's identity. Now, with Thug and Gunna split, the city felt divided. Rappers were forced to pick sides, either ride with Thug out of loyalty or link with Gunna because he was free and working. What started as a legal case turned into a cultural war, threatening to split one of hip-hop's most important cities right down the middle. The Young Thug and Gunna saga isn't just about two rappers falling out. It's a story that shook the foundation of Atlanta hip-hop. For years, Thug was the glue, the innovator who brought the city's new wave together under the YSL banner. Gunna was the shining star he raised up, proving that YSL wasn't just Thug's world, it was a movement. But now the label that once looked untouchable is crumbling in real time. And the question everyone's asking, can either of them come back from this? For Thug, the fight is in the courtroom. He's facing a RICO trial that could bury him for decades, and every plea deal his associates take weakens his defense. The leaked interrogation videos and jail calls made him look shaky to some fans, but to others, they proved he's under immense pressure. Either way, his legacy is at risk. If he goes down, people will remember him not just as an innovator, but as the leader of a crew that collapsed under the weight of its own secrets. Gunna, meanwhile, is living with the rat label. He might not have taken the stand against Thug, but in hip-hop, perception is stronger than technicalities. That one clip in court where he confirmed YSL was a gang is enough to haunt him forever. His music still moves numbers, but in a culture built on loyalty and authenticity, numbers can't erase doubt. Unless Thug himself one day clears Gunna's name, which feels unlikely, the streets will never fully forgive him. The bigger tragedy is what this means for Atlanta. For decades, the city has been a symbol of unity in hip-hop, with artists supporting each other while dominating the charts. Now, with YSL imploding, it feels like that unity is fractured. Rappers are quietly picking sides, and fans are watching as one of the most powerful rap families tears itself apart. It's not just Thug and Gunna's careers on the line, it's the image of Atlanta as the capital of hip-hop. At the end of the day, this story is about loyalty, betrayal, and how fast fortunes can flip in the rap game. Young Thug and Gunna went from brothers to enemies, from making hits together to trading subliminals. And while the details of the RICO case will play out in court, the damage to their bond is already permanent. Whether you believe Gunna snitched or not, whether you see Thug as a victim or a boss who lost control, one thing is clear: YSL will never be the same.